Hello everybody, welcome back to not Takatsudo, but Hinamizawa this time. I sure hope nothing bad happens. I mean, everything's really just gone great so far. Really smooth. Like the smooth taste of a Winston cigarette. Have we already viewed all the tips? Yes, we have. Because I remember, when I came on here, I realized that we got the achievement for no tips last time, or all tips last time, so... Yep, we've done every tip.
We've done no tips.
It was an
Steam doesn't
accident.
believe in
Shut up!
tipping.
Shut up! It was an accident that happened in such a small village that anyone could forget. One day, after the tragedy had come to a close, just as the scars began to heal, a young man thinks nostalgically of the little girl he once met. The words he couldn't ask that day, the promise he couldn't fulfill that day, those regrets and lamentations opened the fate that was sealed and become a single hope. Himatsubushi. I don't know what the
Written by
Tsubu
Edgar
means.
Allan Poe. Wow.
Fate isn't only about happiness, but there is no one that would wish for unhappiness.
Speak for yourself.
Tsubu means grain, bead,
Midsummer,
drop, counter for a small round objects,
1985.
including grain,
Guys,
seeds,
shut
pearls,
up,
drop.
shut up. We're back
Milk.
in 1985 now.
Head, hair,
Shut up,
mind,
everyone!
brains,
Shut the
intellect.
fuck up! We're back in 1985 now! This is important! Ellipses. Thank you. 2 ellipses.
Take 2 shots.
I'm gonna
Were
guess
we
this
ever
is...
in 1985?
Yes, we were at the very start of this chapter. We were at the airport, and we were going to Hinamizawa to see Oishi.
What? I thought this took place before.
It takes
No, 'cause it's a
place
flashback.
before and at... That whole thing was just an extended flashback. Yes. That has been known since the start of the story, by the way.
What has?
So you
That-
got
this
so
thing-
wrapped up in the cuck jokes that I don't even remember that.
Yeah, this started with
Yeah.
him at the airport, and he was going to see Oishi because of a case he took on a very long time ago. And this whole thing has been him reminiscing about that time. This entire chapter after that point.
Did he include the part where there's a decision that killed him?
But
It's like, and then I died.
wait,
think
no.
that's canon to the
Actually,
main story.
actually, go back a little bit. I did something completely different, and then I didn't die, and that's
Wait.
how I'm here today.
How is he explaining the tip where you had to choose a blue box or a red box?
Oh my okay.
How does he do that?
No, listen.
He's-
So,
it's
since he's...
pathetic.
No, listen, shut up. Since he's reminiscing, he already chose the red box, right? He already picked the box with the
Well, we picked the
caramel
blue
in it.
box.
But what? But
The blue box
How many
sucks. The
of
blue box
the-
just has gum.
how many of the
I feel like-
chocolates did he eat?
Oh my
While
god.
he's sitting here
Shut
waiting.
the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
How many breads has
you
he
know
eaten
what I'm
throughout his
talking
life?
about.
Wait, no, but like,
Look,
he's actually. Wait,
No,
are you saying
he's
that he's
reminiscing.
actually
This is the future.
the owner
and he's
of the
reminiscing.
Bubba Gump
This is
shrimping
the-
company?
This is the future, and he's reminiscing.
He's Willy Wonka?
Which
He
means
owns the
that he
chocolate
has
factory?
already made the decision.
I
that leads
didn't
to him
realize we were
Shut the
in a
fuck
visual
up!
novel with a billionaire.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck! I'm gonna beat you all to death. Anyway, so...
Listen, Oishi even looks like Willy Wonka.
Shut up. Okay, I'm just gonna...
Oh my
I'm just
God,
gonna
he
mute
does.
everyone until I can finish talking. Let's see here. Actually, I can server deafen myself, that's better. Okay, so...
Can you hear him
Wait,
now?
no. I can't... Okay, server deafen, there we go. Okay, so now they can hear me, but I can't hear them. So as I was saying, so, the start of this chapter, 1985, we were in an airport about to go see Oishi in Hinamizawa about a case that happened a very long time ago, which means that everything up to this point with Miyuki, right here, has been a flashback. It already happened. In other words, so that whole tip about the red and blue box, right? So even if you go back and see what the other box contained, you can't undo choosing the red box, right? That was the whole point of that. So because he's reminiscing about it, that means it already happened. So he already chose his box, basically. So even if he goes and sees what happens if he died and failed, it doesn't matter. Because he already made that decision. Okay. There we go. Is everyone clear now?
Willy Wonka's suit. In Willy Wonka's
Yeah.
suit.
Together.
Together.
No
Because
one's
Rena,
clear.
but it makes sense because Rena is like a really good detective.
Ted, my
Yes.
favorite part of that
Yeah,
was the fact that it
that's-
sounded like
that's
you
how
were
she
still
got on the
arguing
force.
with us when you couldn't hear us.
Okay.
I was just saying it's very bottom coded.
Shut the fuck up. Who wants to take Miyuki? Okay, this is probably the daughter, I assume. That hasn't been born yet, but has been born by 1985.
Papa, are you there, Papa?
Okay, little girl voice, please. I know you can do it. I'm begging you.
Papa, are you there, Papa?
Acceptable.
You should do a Valley Girl voice.
No. Huh? Oh. Do not do a Valley Girl voice. I will
Are
beat
you alright? Are you having a scary dream?
Okay, thank you for not doing a Valley Girl voice.
Wait,
I don't even know what that
it was a
sounds
dream.
like, honestly.
I can't do a Valley Girl voice
Wait,
until I
was
hear
it- was-
Tahate do it first.
Wait, were Valley Girls the ones who went like... Or was
So,
that someone
like,
else?
Gag me with a pitchfork.
yeah, you elongate your
Like,
consonants
I
a lot.
totally
and use
saw, like,
a lot.
Becky being like a total bitch to Veronica Quisha. And like...
Are you making a fucking
I
Class
don't
of 09
fuck with
reference?
that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making a
Veronica,
Class of
is that a
09
Fallout New
reference.
Vegas reference?
I am happier not knowing, honestly. Anyway, Miyuki was sitting
'cause for
next
you-
That
YouTube,
guy's dressed like a
Tahate
total
is a huge-
slut.
Class of
Miyuki,
09 fan.
well, you see, Miyuki, who was not in Class of 09, but in this game, was sitting next to me in this game, and I quickly patted her head after hearing her say that. I must have had a bad dream while sleeping in the cabin. I was sweating profusely.
Wait, sorry, I thought we were at an airport, Mr. Tehate. Did you misreport the story? Sleeping in the cabin?
No, he's just riding on
Oh
Oishi.
my god. Well, he would
What's,
need
what's
a...
happening? I'm confused.
Did you
Mr.
forget?
Narrator, I'm confused.
Did you forget that there is no... There ain't no, like, fucking transport or anything like that in Hinamizawa. You bring transportation, or you don't move around very well. Or you just
Literally
you just,
bicycles.
You just have to like walk. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? is the
Ironically,
bicycle.
can we try reading this?
Okay, look. Look, you guys can't fight me on every detail like this if we're gonna keep going. No, it's nothing. I guess it's a little hot in here. What a coincidence, it's very hot in here right now. How are you guys holding up? Because I
With
am
a hot
not.
text in there.
It's cool enough here.
I tried
Yeah,
to wipe
it's overcast.
I tried to wipe away the sweat while answering. I'm probably going to need to make multiple trips for water downstairs because I'm pretty sure mine like evaporated a little bit from my glass, so that's really like cool.
Oh, you can drink the scale.
It'll be like the like Wallcroft. You remember the golden drop from Umineko, right? It'll be like that. It'll like condense down into more concentrated pure water. You know what I'm saying?
If you put your mouth over the glass of water, the water will evaporate straight into your mouth. So you
That
don't lose
sounds
anything.
that sounds
Yeah,
really
deep
convenient.
throat your glass, Tahate. It's the only way.
Okay, let me
What's your
just. I tried to wipe away the sweat while answering, and looked around for a handkerchief or towel.
I feel like I need more alcohol for this now.
No, please, we need to continue. And
We
then
need to proceed.
a cold drop ran down my forehead. Miyuki turned to me and smiled, then wiped my face with the towel she received at takeoff. Thanks, Miyuki.
Of course.
Thanks to her, I was finally able to shake off my slumber, so I got up from the aisle seat and looked out the window. Window? Is that a... I wrapped my arms around Miyuki in the window seat, and listened to the noise as the land and sea blew past us before our eyes.
Wow, so Hokkaido. Hokkaido is so big.
And then the plane gently turned before entering the airport runway. Arriving at the lobby, I glanced around, looking for Oishi.
I thought they rode in on Oishi.
Please let him be in a bunny girl outfit.
Well, I assumed that when he was at the airport in the first part, that he was at like the airport, as in he hadn't gotten off at his stop yet.
No, you see, he went to check on Akasaka in the first airport, and then they rode the air.
That's
okay.
not what happened. He
We're
hasn't
looking,
gotten to
we're looking for
yet.
Oishi because he's the only source of air
Arriving-
conditioning in like a 50-mile radius.
Guys, Grumble, please, you are contributing to the problem. Nothing has even
What do you
happened.
mean?
At least wait for Oishi to show up, please. Arriving at the lobby, I glanced around, looking for Oishi, who had not shown up yet, and was met with a familiar gruff voice calling out to me. So you could have waited one more line. One more line.
I don't remember what voice I did. How many years has it been? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Actually, where's GM? Everybody was showing
Voice
up for
Break
this
hasn't aced a day.
I don't think he can come today, right? Because he still has...
Hmm.
Was it in the, Where was this fucking message?
Might have been in.
He was getting married, right?
No, he was not getting married.
Wasn't he going cave diving?
Oh my god, stop. He's been online.
Okay, he said, I may be unavailable for today's session. I will not be arriving at the place I'm moving to until much later.
He might just not, like, be fully settled in yet. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, Oishi. Who's
I already
taking
read the
this?
line.
Oh, right. Okay. Oishi-san! It really has been a long time. Oishi clapped his hand down on my shoulder, celebrating our reunion.
Akasaka-san, you're looking pretty good. You look like a bona fide frontline investigator now.
You're looking quite dapper yourself. Your posture seems a lot better. And I'm looking disrespectfully, Oishi-san. Is the ballroom dancing paying off?
You should give it a try while you're still young. You'd be a hit with the ladies. A real
Kind of amazing
babe
that
of
he
magnet.
Hasn't aged one day.
I made that.
I mean, once you're old, you're just old.
Oh, so Ryukichi hates old people. I see.
Oishi...
He thinks old
Wait,
people are all
guys,
the same.
Everyone shut the fuck
Yeah.
up! Oishi had retired and moved to Sapporo, of all things. It's probably Sapporo. But anyway, had started
That's what's
taking,
written right there. Yeah.
and of all things, had started taking ballroom dancing lessons. He had apparently gotten really into it, and had decided to spend the rest of his new life devoted to that hobby. He was
It's
aiming
apparently like
He was aiming
Go
to
ahead.
get his instructor's qualifications before he hit 80, and live out his old age dandily.
he's gonna be a dandy.
Oh? Who might this be?
Oh hey, it's Miyuki. I bet this character doesn't have a sprite. Let's see. Yep, she's gone.
This
Wait, what's the-
evaporates.
Is it the same with the middle one?
Yes. Because the
Okay.
middle one is all just redraws. Nothing new is added. Like you can tell there's just a PS3 sprite here. You can turn that off.
God.
That's a setting. Don't worry. If you want to experience it how the Steam version was intended, you can do that. I just have it set to like force show everything new from the PS3 version, basically. Oishi suddenly turned his attention to Miyuki, who was standing idly next to me. He bent down on his knee to look her in the face. However, my daughter was frightened and hid behind my back. Smart girl. Smart girl. Run away fast, Miyuki.
He's like, hey kid, you want to see some bunnies?
No! Oishi, put that magazine down! Come on, Miyuki. Please introduce yourself properly. She was staring at Oishi with a dubious expression, while tugging at the hem of my shirt. She's usually not this shy. I wonder what's wrong. Sorry about that. She's not usually like this. Only around... criminals.
Oh no, it's no problem. Though this old man just has a scary face. If you don't mind, could you tell me your name?
I'm Miyuki Akasaka. I'm 7 years old. Nice to meet you.
Oh my fucking god, we've been... Has that been his surname the entire time?
No, she's also named Akasaka.
Oh my... So we haven't known this character's first name the entire time.
We can't
I think
put
we
any
have.
curses on him.
Have we? Wait, what was his actual name? I completely forgot about that.
Mamoru.
Oh, Mamoru Akasaka. Okay, so this isn't
No.
hidden. I'm just an idiot, and I forgot to take that down.
I think
I
he
think-
he introduced himself in the first session when we were
When he was at
walking
the
around.
airport. Yeah. Anyway.
I think his full name is Akasaka.
No, you're right. Because I remember saying there's like a there's a character in
It's
another thing I'm reading named Mamoru Tanaka. So, anyway,
It's a double palindrome.
Great, that was a good introduction. I'd expect no less from Akasaka-san's daughter.
Uishi gently stroked Miyuki's head and smiled as though she were his own grandchild. After finally seeing that, Miyuki smiled in relief. Shortly afterwards, Miyuki told me she was just doing what I had told her to do. Be careful around strangers. Uishi overheard that and let out a hearty "Wah-ha-ha-ha!" shaking his body while laughing and walking, like a bowl full of jelly. I let myself into Oishi's car, which had air conditioning, and he headed towards the hot spring inn. I'm sorry,
I like
I had
the-
to slip that in at least.
It's like the active wording of I let myself into Oishi's car.
I had originally intended to crash at Oishi's place, but Oishi was quite obstinate that his home wasn't suitable for that, so it came to this. At the inn, we relaxed while soaking in the hot springs, then ate a delicious feast until we were full. Miyuki had a little bit of the Mongolian barbecue and was delighted with it. After our bellies were swollen, Miyuki grew sleepy and went off to bed. Then Oishi and I reminisced about the time we played Mahjong together in Hinamizawa. That was a pretty cool time. There was this guy and he was the damn construction foreman.
Would you say he was damned?
It seemed that to celebrate our reunion, Oishi had looked for people who could play. But unable to find a suitable candidate, we had to give up on putting together a table. As we drank together, we excitedly recounted our exploits during the final manhunt. Did they end up catching those two guys?
Oh?
Oh!
Nope. In the end, the search team never found them. They were probably hidden by the villagers, then sent overseas or somewhere else far away to lay low for a bit.
Oh my god! Officer! He's reaching! Ah! Okay, I have to see what it looks like in all three. So here's the bad art style, right? This is the one I don't like very much. And then... This is the bad, but in like a charming way art style.
Yeah.
Okay, so he does look like he's reaching for a gun in all three of those. Doesn't he? Like, I'm not wrong. Anyway.
Kinda.
I guess that's.
Did you already
Yeah.
read this line? Just double check it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You know, I never really noticed it, but Oishi's got a pretty thick neck as well. Oishi-san, if I remember correctly, you managed to grab one of their guns, didn't you? Did you learn anything from that?
It was a foreign military pistol. It's probably from the ones the gangs in Kansai managed to smuggle in a ton of. We tried to get a match from the rifling, but it didn't show up in any other cases. How about on your end?
After that, I was removed from the front lines, so I don't know much. In the end, it seems like everything was settled under the veil of secrecy. Oishi smiled wryly as he sipped his chilled drink.
What happened after that? Sure was tough, huh? It's been 7 years now.
Yeah. We held the memorial service a few days ago. I've become estranged with my father-in-law lately, so it was rough getting everything ready.
That must have been a lot of work.
It was then that the hostess brought me in the extra drinks that we had ordered before. While the bottles of beer clanked as she brought them in, we halted our conversation. What Oishi meant when he said it must have been tough. Thinking about that was still hard, but time had healed the wound. It was the day after, when I phoned Oishi to apologize. When I did, Oishi almost immediately handed the phone to one of my colleagues, who happened to be there. Not only was I injured in the brawl with the suspects, but I disappeared to drink late into the night without leaving any sort of contact information, so I thought he'd definitely be mad. However, all he said was that it was something he couldn't talk about over the phone, and that I should come to the station as soon as possible. At the time, I could only think that he must have been really pissed off. But when I arrived at the station, he said this. Uh-oh.
Seems your wife was involved in an accident.
Having no idea what happened, I borrowed the phone to contact the hospital Yukie was staying at. After being given the runaround several times, I was finally able to talk to someone in charge, and after mincing words for quite some time, they told me.
Yuki Akasaka died in an accident.
The world became a blur as I sat there dumbfounded. Yukie's death was unbelievably abrupt, unbelievably sudden. There were no signs, such as cut phone lines, cutting my contact with them, so I couldn't see if she was missing. Yukie's death was unbelievably abrupt, unbelievably sudden. I could have understood if there was some kind of problem during the birth, but Yukie's death wasn't anything like that. On the stairs on the way up to the roof, she just happened to slip and fall. And she just happened to fall on an unfortunate place at an unfortunate angle. That was it. Wanting to blame Yukie's death on somebody, I began to think that it was an act of revenge by the Guardians, that they killed my wife and made it look like an accident. I'm sorry, that's just really funny in the context of the cut phone lines. What I learned when I flew back to Tokyo, however, was much more cruel than that. Yukie had a habit of going up to the roof to cool off in the evening. There was an elevator up to the 7th floor, but from there you had to take the stairs to get to the roof. Even later in her pregnancy, when the evening came, she would always head up there. Her father had always said for her not to push herself, but Yukie insisted until the time she had no choice but to stay in bed, she should be allowed to do as she wished. However, I had never once seen Yukie go up to the roof. I only heard from her father and the nurses. That was because whenever I visited her, she would spend that time with me instead. I heard the reason why Yukie went up to the roof from a nurse she had become friendly with. She had said that her husband was away on business a lot of the time, and that whenever he called, she was able to cheer him up and give him courage. But when he didn't call, she couldn't do that. Her husband might put on a show of bravado, but in reality, he grew lonesome pathetically fast. She was probably just the same. Whenever he left for business, not clear when he'd be back, she felt very lonely. Whenever she cheered him up, she was actually cheering herself up as well. That's why, whenever he went far away for an important job, on the evenings he didn't call, at the very least, she felt that standing underneath the same sky, her feelings would reach him. At that moment, I remembered the words that girl had told me. That it was best that I go back to Tokyo right away. Otherwise there would be something I'd regret horribly. Yes, that's it. Because I was away on business that day, Yukie had headed up to the roof. Had I known that this would be the result, had I done as the girl had said and dropped everything to head back to Tokyo, I might have been with Yukie on the day she died. If I was with her, she wouldn't have gone up to the roof. The day my wife died was on the evening of the 3rd day of my trip. Yes, it was right before the time I had the sudden urge to hear Yukie's voice, and ran around the village trying to find a phone. The girl had gone around and cut all the phone cords. If she hadn't, and I had made that call, I would have undoubtedly learned of Yukie's death at that time, and collapsed in tears. Of course, even though the cords were cut, it had only put me off learning Yukie's death by that one evening. In the end, I had learned of it the next morning. However, when I managed to put my emotions in order, I realized it was that girl's small token of consideration. Who is that girl?
That's the first time I've ever heard about that.
Guys, who is that girl? Why did you sound like you threw up at that last part?
This is Oishi.
The
Yeah,
drinks
'cause, like,
they
This is really
the drinks
like-
they brought weren't that
The
great.
voice was like weirdly hard on my throat.
No, Iwishi is just so disgusting that you just threw up a hairball is what happened. He's so, like, repulsive and fat and hideous.
He just calls up a
Horrible,
hairball.
like a fuzzy, poisonous caterpillar crawling all over me.
Do you
Anyway,
describe him
Oishi,
more as
what's
a
your
bear,
line?
perhaps?
Iwishi, say you're lying. Yeah.
Air conditioning.
It's the first time I've talked about it. Thank you.
Could have been a coincidence. He doesn't have any special powers or anything.
Aren't you the one who told me, Oishi-san? That she might be the reincarnation of the god called Oyashiro-sama.
Well, yeah. The old folks in the village believed that Rika Furude had divine powers.
Divine powers? Oishi had originally said it as a kind of joke, but realizing that I was serious, he slumped his shoulders.
I don't know if it's the truth or not. They said she did things like prophesize the future or talk about things she should have no way of knowing. That she was clairvoyant, that it was divine revelation. Well, all sorts of things. Of course, they couldn't give specific examples, though.
She prophesized Yukie's accident. Oishi tried to laugh it off, but out of respect to my deceased wife, he kept it restrained. That's not Oishi, he's showing respect! No way.
Does that mean an active and capable investigator from a metropolitan police department believes in divine powers and curses?
Having him say that so bluntly, I couldn't respond. Of course, I had no intention of believing such odd things. But he could only say that because he didn't know what I did. Since I met that other girl, who both was and wasn't Rika Furude, I couldn't deny the existence of any otherworldly entity. I don't know about that.
Cthulhu?
Rock?
Of course, I can't deny that it might not have been prescience, but rather a warning. Not prescience. Is it prescience? Prescience? Not prescience.
Who the fuck knows?
Word has
But
too
it's
many
a warning.
syllables.
Yeah, if a writer uses words with more than 2 syllables, they're just being pretentious.
Okay.
True.
Not prescience, but a warning. If what that girl had said was a warning about Yukie's accident, then things became much easier to understand. Basically, the line of thinking became that it was a threat. Because I didn't go back to Tokyo, my wife was killed in a way that made it look like an accident.
Not satisfied with the investigation into your wife's accident?
Of course, I suspected foul play. I pored over the results and even carried out my own personal investigation. There weren't any witnesses to Yukie's fall. There was the possibility that someone had hidden, waiting to push Yukie down the stairs. However, the cleaning ladies frequented the roof to hang laundry, and the security cameras on each floor hadn't recorded anything out of the ordinary. There wasn't anything set up on the stairs, and I was unable to find anything suspicious. In the end, even after my personal investigation, I can't think that anything else happened other than a simple accident. Well, of course. There were the guys that took the minister's grandson hostage. It wouldn't be impossible for them to push a lone pregnant woman down the stairs without leaving any evidence. Oishi's expression had completely sobered up. A rare sight.
They murdered your wife?
Have we seen that expression? I don't know if we have.
I think
Yes.
so.
I think we have.
I don't think we
Like,
have,
I-
actually.
I feel
Yeah.
like the time we saw that was when like he was intimidating
bikers.
the bikers.
Yep.
Was he
Look at-
like that
look
when
at
he's
his
also
little
beating
fangs.
up Keiichi?
Yeah, I think so as well.
When Yukie died, I thought that as well. More precisely, I wanted to blame somebody, so I created the most viable scapegoat. But without any clear evidence, that violent notion faded along with the wounds in my heart. Does that girl know beforehand about my wife's death and was threatening me? Or did she prophesize that death and was offering me a road to salvation? If I had to choose between the two, I would tend towards the latter. Oishi smiled slightly in disbelief as he poured more beer from his bottle.
Then, if I may, if what you say is true, then Rika Furude was a prophet who knew the future. If so, Why didn't she predict that disaster? If she knew that gas eruption was going to happen, why didn't she remain silent? Even a few hours beforehand would have been enough. If the village knew, then most of the people would have escaped without dying.
Oh,
It was near. Is this Oishi or is this?
I think this is still Akasaka.
Okay.
Great Hinamizawa disaster in memoriam list. It was near the end of June 1983. Volcanic gases from the Onigafuchi swamp erupted and hit the village in the middle of the night. It was an unprecedented disaster where the whole populace was wiped out. It caused a wave of panic about volcanic gas all over the country, causing people to overreact over any reports of odd smells. I haven't heard of the blockade on the Hinamizawa area being lifted, so it should still be cordoned off. Also, note the date is interesting. So this definitely is not a
What
continue. Look at the
had, like,
Article 12.
I thought we had like a specific
thought-
day that the disaster happened on. Wasn't it
I
like
thought like
Yeah,
stuff was in June.
24th?
No.
Not
So
March?
what this means is that this is not a continuation of Tatari Garoshi, first of all, which was obvious if you were paying attention because Oishi couldn't be alive, but you know.
He could have just like left. They just couldn't maybe like, oh, they didn't find him. Like he wasn't found.
Okay,
He just showed up again.
he wouldn't use the same name. That doesn't make
he's
any
a ghost?
sense.
He's a ghost.
Why? Did he commit like crimes? Was he hiding from something?
Bro, he was murdered.
No, he was fine.
Don't think so.
How would they have murdered him?
He's so attractive. How do you
Why would
murder him?
anyone murder the only source of air conditioning in Hinamizawa?
To take it
Oh
over,
my- okay.
obviously.
Look,
It's a vicious fight for
shut
resources.
Up.
I mean,
Shut. I'm server deafening again. Okay, so to explain what I was trying to say, this is a different timeline. Okay, everyone clear on that? This is different from Chapter 3 timeline. I'm not sure which timeline this is in necessarily, but sometime after these events, Keiichi made some bad choices, I suppose. And this is what happened. So in this timeline, the gas eruption happens much later in 1984, which is interesting. Because it means that no, the gas eruption does not always happen on the same day. Interesting. I hadn't heard of the blockade on the Hinamizawa area being lifted, so it should still be cordoned off. Okay, now you will free. You will be free. Where's the server deafen button? There we go.
Oh, you're back.
You're muted that whole time.
Was I muted?
yeah, I was
Yeah,
trying
we were
to
yelling
tell
at you.
Server
and,
deafen.
Allcroft was.
I was trying to tell you, but
Okay, well,
Didn't-
too bad. You're gonna hear it when I upload the VOD. So too bad.
So never.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
sure.
I'll explain briefly again. Basically,
You-
okay, look at the date. Look at the date. It's 1 year, like a few months off of what it was in Tatari Garoshi. So this is just a different timeline. Okay.
I feel like I've heard this somewhere before.
Oh my god. This is not.
I think you did
all
just
I'm
explain
saying, all I'm saying is that this is not like a continuation of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also, that means that yes, the swamp gas can happen at different times.
So
it
damn,
was
Sadako
not-
isn't real.
But what if I liked Tatara Goroshi or whatever?
But it's
like,
it's.
can we
it
just go
is-
back to that one?
It is interesting that it seems like the gas happened the quickest on the timeline where Sadako was the focus. Interesting. I hadn't heard of the blockade on the Hinamizawa area being lifted, so it should still be cordoned off. That's... It was my turn to be lost for a response. Oh, that was supposed to be a Wishi, damn it! No! It was my turn to be lost for a response.
Was Oishi saying all that stuff about Tatari Goroshi as well? Does he know?
Well, if Rika Furude, the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was killed, then the village might have incurred the god's wrath, making him call forth the miasma from the swamp to kill everyone. That explanation is what the survivors are whispering about.
Sorry, Oishi-san. Did you just say she was killed?
Huh? Yeah. Well, I don't think it'd be a problem if I told you. When I saw the news about the gas disaster, I remembered that girl. Wait, is this not Akasaka?
No, he's telling us, so it is Oishi again.
Oh my god. I then found her name in the list of victims. That's why, at the time, I thought her own death she had predicted was due to the gas. It was after that I learned from the tabloids of this of the series of... Yeah, this is Akasaka.
Okay, never mind, yes.
The previous line's thought seemed weird.
It was after that I learned from the tabloids of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa during the 5 years leading up to the disaster that became known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. And that string of mysterious deaths lined up exactly with what that girl had predicted, so I had always thought to ask Oishi about it, as he had been involved in that investigation. That's right. That was the reason for our reunion. But right now, Oishi had said, Rika Furude didn't die in the disaster, but was killed? Can I ask you about the last year of the curse?
I may be retired, but I still have to keep things confidential, you know?
Excuse me, madam, do you have anything cold that's brewed locally? High grade, if there is. I'll leave the selection to you. Akasaka's not gonna tip. That's my headcanon.
Oh my, I didn't mean it that way.
He's talking about a bribe.
Yeah.
Oishi laughed loudly, not wholly unsatisfied, and stopped the hostess to tell her that the cheap booze was fine. I know as much as was written in those magazines, but I don't know anything about the curse that happened the year of the disaster.
Magazines and Oishi.
So wait,
those
weren't in the paper. Those must have been internal, like, police reports.
Because the entire area around Hinamizawa was sealed off, you see. There wasn't much of an investigation that could be done on the last year of the curse. Even if after several years the quarantine is lifted, the villagers are mostly dead, and what few survivors there were mostly went to stay with their relatives, with whereabouts mostly unknown. It's a complete dead end.
Oishi seemed to postulate to himself as he stared at the ceiling, as if trying to work out a memory from the rusty cogs in his brain, or in his head. And then, he said in a completely sober voice, unthinkable for Oishi, first of all.
The magazines made it seem like the curse of the 5th year was that disaster. But the actual curse really happened on the day of the Watanagashi festival. A photographer by the name of Jiro Tomatake, he was the victim.
Oishi gestured about how the victim tore out his own throat with his fingernails as he talked.
And the burnt corpse of the woman Tomatake was in a relationship with was found in the mountains in Gifu. The Gifu prefectural police weren't very cooperative, so I don't know much about it, though. Wow, it's confirmed they're siblings.
There were 2 victims in one night?
Actually, see, it wasn't just those 2. You see, the next day, Kumagai-kun, one of my subordinates, disappeared along with his car in the middle of his investigation.
Hold on, I think this is screenshot moments. Let me just, This is important for a timeline, so... Kumagai was a younger detective that was going to be partnered with Oishi after we first met.
He was going around the village to question people about the incident with Tomatake. He must have gotten caught up in something. If he was with me, he might have been safe. Even now, it still stings. That day, for some reason, I did a real number on my stomach. I had to pass on going around outside.
He got too close to the truth and was made to disappear?
That's what I think. Kuma-chan was young and had a promising future ahead of him, but he still didn't have enough experience on the scene. He wasn't used to dealing with any complications.
Oishi lamented the fact that he wasn't with his subordinate on that day.
And then, the next day, see, you know him well. You know him as well, Akasaka-san. You know, Dr. Irie. You remember him?
That young doctor from the hospital? I vaguely remember.
For whatever reason, he committed suicide with sleeping pills. No suicide note or anything. The autopsy confirmed that it was the sleeping pills. Nothing was in doubt except for the motive.
It isn't that hard to make it look like somebody died from taking sleeping pills, is it? Any possibility it was a murder? Oishi.
Oh, sorry. He was single, no prior marriages. It didn't seem like he was going out with anybody in particular. He was the coach of the local junior baseball team and was on good terms with the villagers. He was liked by everybody. I couldn't find anybody who would want to do him harm. Well, any chances to investigate were ruined by the disaster, though. There's no way to find out anything about him now. It was that day, around noon, some of the old folks who were visiting the shrine discovered the corpse of Rika Furude. Before we continue, you should probably stop eating that squid, Soman.
Oh no. I'm gonna guess it was probably in a similar state to Tatari Higurashi. That bad? Oishi nodded firmly.
The corpse was found on the shrine grounds next to the donation box, although she was probably killed somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's because while she was completely naked, there wasn't any dirt on the soles of her feet.
Any sign it was some sort of sexual assault? Let me just... State of the body is
According to-
important.
According to the autopsy, there wasn't any indication of that. What we know is that she was rendered unconscious by some sort of drug, carried to that place, then had her abdomen sliced wide open. Her organs were deliberately removed and scattered about.
Oh boy. Unconscious? Then she wasn't cut open after her death? That's horrible. That girl's prediction was right on the mark. I'm pretty sure she was more detailed about the other deaths that led up to her own. For example, I think she said that the housewife that was beaten to death on the 4th year had her head split open. And then in that case, did she know that her own death would be so terrible? There must have been some moments where she wanted to doubt the validity of her own predictions. But as people died exactly as prophesized, as the years passed, that prophecy would only come closer to fruition. And then, facing the final year, unable to struggle against her own destiny, her all too young life was snuffed out. And in such a cruel way. Knowing that her days are numbered, and unable to fight the tide of events heralding her end, my heart ached at her hopelessness.
About the way she died, it seems like it wasn't just somebody's sick taste. What I'm saying is, I've told you before about how Hinamizawa used to be home to demons, didn't I?
Yeah, I think I remember.
The festival in Hinamizawa village, Watanagashi, the cotton drifting, seems to stem from the drifting of entrails. Seems that it came from the man-eating demons ripping apart their victims and throwing their organs into the river.
In other words, in Hinamizawa, pulling out entrails had some sort of religious meaning? Did you know that Ryukishi likes to repeat himself?
Well, that is according to the old tales in Hinamizawa, you see. To act as an arbitrator so that the humans and the man-eating demons could live together peacefully, a god known as Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens.
If I recall, Rika Furude was said to be the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, wasn't she?
Did you know that? Yeah. So, cutting open Rika Furude, who was a living god, would be to the village nothing less than an absolute sacrilege.
Absolute sacrilege? In other words, you mean sacrilege towards Oyashiro-sama?
The rest you should know, Akasaka-san. The wrath of Oyashiro-sama would occur the same night. The great Hinamizawa disaster.
The Great Hinamizawa disaster, that's me.
No, you're wrong.
The official explanation was that some swamp upstream erupted with toxic volcanic gas, which enveloped the village.
The swamp where it erupted was called Onigafuchi Swamp. It was the origin of Hinamizawa's old name, Onigafuchi Village. According to village lore, the depths of the swamp apparently led to hell, where the man-eating demons came from.
That almost seems too perfect.
Oh, no. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There was another bit of folklore in the village. If Oyashiro-sama became angry, the cauldron of hell would open up and miasma would flow out. Or so they say. When are we gonna get Higurashi iceberg chart?
Higurashi iceberg chart. Those who know is like deep in the iceberg, and then
The
like at the
entire
tip
chart-
of the iceberg, there's just
No.
those who don't know.
No, just the entire iceberg is just those who know on every layer, and that's it.
No, the tip is those who don't know. There was another. Oh wait, yeah, you got that. To the villagers, hell was at the bottom of the swamp. So basically, the miasma poured out, smothering the village.
Yeah, basically, due to the sacrilegious way that Rikafurude, the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was killed, the village incurred the wrath of Oyashiro-sama in the form of that disaster. That seems to be their explanation.
So what you're saying is that the disaster wasn't a natural one?
Well, everything does seem to fit together a little too well. Oyashiro-sama's curse doesn't really exist, and everything really was just a matter of coincidence. I would doubt it.
A wry smile formed on Oishi's face as he listened to my absurd take on things. He wore an expression as though, even if it were absurd, there was a time where he had thought the same thing as well. In regards to the religious beliefs of the villagers, suppose there was a more fanatical group among them. Among us? And that group created a situation that would incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath, and enacted the disaster to make it seem like the truth.
Of course, I won't laugh. I've wandered down that line of reasoning more than once myself. However, even though Hinamizawa is a small village, it still has a population of over 1,000 people. To murder that many people in a single night doesn't seem realistic, no matter how you think about it.
The gas eruption was believed to have happened around 2 a.m., several hours before dawn. In
They were
that
dead by daylight.
In that short amount of time, going around and killing all the villagers in a way that made it look like poison gas didn't seem feasible at all. The swamp the gas erupted from still had some religious significance, didn't it? If that's the case, then maybe there was something set up in the swamp. Something that could be activated whenever a divine verdict was rendered.
According to the JSDF press release, the swamp is declared the source of the eruption. This was after everything was thoroughly looked over by their investigative team. If anything like that was set up, I think they would have found it.
It wouldn't necessarily have to be in the swamp itself. Come on, haven't you ever heard about that? A story about how when a faraway spring dried up, the village spring dried up as well.
What do you mean by that?
Many waterways are connected by underground aquifers, pushes up glasses. Swamps and springs are only the parts that manage to pop above the surface.
So what you're saying is that Onigafuchi Swamp is connected to another swamp or spring. And there's something the villagers rigged up there long ago. Something that changes the pressure of Onigafuchi Swamp, causing it to erupt with poison gas. Is that what you're getting at?
Oishi laughed heartily, commending the fact that the young uns have a nice, flexible way of thinking. That was the former detective in him. Even though it was a hypothesis that he didn't come up with, he still had the presence of mind to not dismiss it right away.
That's an interesting theory. If that proves to be true, then it would be, unprecedentedly, the largest mass murder in the history of Japan.
Once the quarantine on Hinamizawa village is lifted, I think it should definitely be investigated. Oishi-san, do you still have any connections with the XX Prefectural Police?
Somewhat. I'm an honorary advisor for their judo classes, so even now I pop by during summer training camps and such.
I don't know when the quarantine on Hinamizawa village will be lifted, but please, let me investigate. Let me help investigate.
Got it.
Oishi-san, how do you feel about the string of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa they call the Curse of Oyashiro-sama?
At the time, the villagers were putting a lot of pressure on the station. The official stance on things was that the cases were unrelated. That each case was separate, each with its own resolution.
That couldn't be. Even though it was blatantly obvious that the cases were connected based on the village's religious beliefs?
Akasaka-san, we can only say that now because of the rather grandiose way things ended after 5 years. At the time, those coincidental incidents just happened to coincidentally occur on the day of Watanagashi. Just it would be nice if nothing happened this year kind of feel to it.
Coincidence? The girl predicted everything from the beginning.
Girl?
Rika Furude. That child warned me about all the incidents that would happen afterwards.
Akasaka-san, is that true?
Yes.
Rock.
The Grok said as much.
Is Bainlin really dead?
The Grok said as much, that the next year, the dam foreman would be killed, and his corpse dismembered. Not only that, she warned me of all the events that would transpire in the following years.
Akasaka-san, when she told you all of that, what year was it?
When I met the girl, I was investigating the kidnapping incident, so June of 1978.
Sure would have been fucking convenient if you told someone about it, wouldn't it?
Year before the dismemberment murder.
Wrinkles formed between Oishi's eyebrows as he closed his eyes, and began to digest what I had just told him.
Akasaka-san, if you're wrong about Rika Furude knowing the future through some divine medium, this is getting ridiculous.
Yep.
If you're just trying to shock me, I'm gonna be really angry, you know?
I'm speaking the truth. Then the script... Or, wait. I'm speaking the truth. Then the script behind the Chain of Mysterious Deaths was written a year before it even started, and just as predicted, Rika Furude was killed. At first, I thought she meant that she would be killed in a disaster. However, now I know that her death wasn't due to that, but rather an atrocious one at the hands of a murderer. She said she would be killed. At that point in time, she knew more or less how her own death would occur.
Then why didn't Rika Furude try to run away?
I'm sorry, I just need to, save this for later.
Even if the death was already spelled out for her. Knowing that, she still had a grace period of several years, didn't she? She had plenty of time to run away and to try and run away or consult the police. Why did she just accept her death with no resistance?
I don't know.
Even though Rika Furude was doted upon by the older folks in the village, you see. After she lost her parents, she had no living relatives, and lived a fairly solitary life other than hanging around with some close friends. It might have been she didn't have any power to fight or anybody to rely on.
She must have tried signaling somebody for help. In regards to her own death, though?
You know very well that the village and the police weren't very amicable with one another, Akasaka-san. At the very least, I never heard anything about Rika Furude seeking protection from anybody. Or, it could be that she simply resigned herself to being a religious sacrifice. It could have been something like that.
There's no way that was the case. I spoke decisively. At that time, I said it. She had definitely said that she wanted to live happily, that she wanted to spend her time surrounded by her dear friends. She hadn't given up on life. She had hoped to keep on living. At that moment, I became dumbstruck.
What's the matter, Akasaka-san?
No, it's nothing. I fell into silence. Oishi folded his arms and began murmuring in contemplation again. Eventually, he stood up and headed towards the hallway to find the hostess, yelling that he wanted a pen and paper. When Oishi, noisy even though he was just thinking, left, the room almost immediately fell into a chilled silence. I stood up. It was then that I realized I was drunk enough to be unsteady on my own feet. When I slid open the window, a beautiful yet somehow ephemeral moon drifted across the night sky. Uh-oh. I don't like how he has just, like, gone straight into action mode the moment Oishi is out of his sight. Because the last time he did this, he did something bad. When I slid open the window, a beautiful yet somehow ephemeral moon drifted across the sky at night. It was just now that I realized she hadn't accepted her own death. She wanted to keep living, happily and joyously. She had said that quite clearly to me, but I was a fool. I hadn't been asked explicitly, so I hadn't realized it. She had made it clear as day that she didn't want to die. Wasn't that her cry for help? She didn't say as much that she wanted help, that she wanted help. But even that, even given that, it wasn't as though she wasn't looking for salvation. Without any family and unable to trust the police, she instead told somebody without any relation to the village, somebody from a faraway place, me. Help me. She had gone around and cut the phone cords. If I had made that phone call and learned of Yukie's death, I probably would have fallen into despair. If I was in that state, even if she was looking for help, her cries would have fallen on deaf ears. That's why, knowing everything, she had cut the phone cords. She wanted even a little time to seek help from me. Oishi, just before now, had lamented that one of the younger officers had gotten mixed up in a case, having been erased because he wasn't there. I was feeling the same way. If only I was there in June of 1983. I could have protected her. In 1983, it would have been...
It would have won.
It would have been 5 years since the kidnapping case took place. While raising the only daughter Yukie had left me, putting all my youth and passion into my work, honing my wits and courage, wrestling with difficult cases. Nothing like my failings during the kidnapping incident would have occurred. I wouldn't have been slow to react in a one-on-one fight, and by that point, I jumped into foreign mafia-run gambling parlors where I learned to deal with automatic weapons, let alone handguns. I had grown so much that in 1983, I couldn't have even compared to how I was in 1978. That's why. If I was by her side, I should have been able to save her life. No matter what conspiracy or foul plots drew near, I definitely would have protected her. She, Even though sounding resigned, she should have been able to still been able to ask me for help. I just didn't realize it. I couldn't realize it. Just as I wouldn't have realized it if I was told of Yukie's accident. I wasn't able to realize it. I wanted to cry. If I had taken her words to heart, I would have prevented Yukie's accident. And I would have been able to protect the girl, to whom I owed a debt from even a predetermined death. She must have been expecting that from me. I learned about the disaster while watching television in my house. Until I learned about that, I had forgotten about Hinamizawa. In order to recover from the shock of Yukie's death, I had tried to remove everything about the place from my memory. What an ungrateful fool I was. Even though in exchange for saving her, the girl had told me of a way to save Yukie, I was unable to accept her gratitude. And now here we were. She hadn't died in her sleep due to a natural disaster. She was split open while still alive, killed while suffering the disgrace of having her organs torn out. She must have known beforehand that on that day, on that year, she would be killed in such a terrifying way. But even knowing what end awaited her, she was all too weak. A lone girl without anybody to rely upon, unable to seek help, had to swallow her own predetermined death, and left this mortal coil. She said she wanted to live. She said she just wanted to live happily. That's all she wanted. She didn't ask for anything extravagant. For any person that was ever born, it was the very basest of desires. She never said a peep about wanting money or that she wished she was in somebody else's situation. She had said it. That if all the deaths were preordained, that hers was also probably all according to plan. She might have also been a lone, frail girl, but I don't think she would have accepted it all without at least putting up a fight. There must have been, in some small way, some form of resistance that she mustered. And with what she could muster, seeking my help was part of that. God damn it! So basically, he's saying that Rika was doing stuff that whole time. It just didn't work. I howled. I stomped the floor.
He's a werewolf.
Why did I become a police officer in the first place? How could I call myself an officer if I couldn't save a single girl from the misfortune that was awaiting her? Was it because there was so much going on at the time that I couldn't process the fact that she was asking for help? Yeah, that's right. I was still green. If I was in that situation now, I definitely would have been able to save her. Or help her. But it was already over. Even if I wanted to settle the regrets she left behind, Hinamizawa, as a dangerous area, was still quarantined. Most of the people involved were already dead, and the few that did remain spread around the country, unable to be traced. The stage of that tragedy was still off limits as well. The police investigation was put on hold, the case slowly being buried in the sands of time. Just like how I wouldn't have known unless Oishi had asked me about it.
Akasaka-san, are you okay?
At some point, Oishi had returned with a notebook in hand. Until I saw the expression on Oishi's face, I didn't realize I was in tears. I never realized she wanted help.
Akasaka-san, calm down.
But it's all too late now. She was killed in such an atrocious manner. She was counting on me, but I couldn't save her. I couldn't save her.
Might also be at fault for not building up an amicable relationship with the village. If Rika Furude had told me about it, I might have been able to extend a helping hand. I wasn't able to build up enough trust for that. That's something I regret.
When Oishi said the word trust, it weighed on me even more. Yes, she had given me her trust. She trusted me. Meaning that she thought I would have been able to ward off the fate of her unforeseen death. She believed in that. I cried. I fell to my hands and knees as I began to bawl. Eventually, Oishi spoke quietly.
Saka-san, does it upset you?
It does.
Then, there's only one way worth mentioning for Rika Furude to have her revenge.
Is there really? Is there a way to do that? Oishi showed me the pen and notebook.
In order to properly mourn the death of Rika Furude, we have to at least find out the truth.
The truth.
Yes, and not just Rika Furude. Lots of people died. Their lament must be immeasurable. But their deaths were left unsettled because of the disaster. And now we can't even investigate them as their memory fades into oblivion. What else was for? Many people died. The old man was killed. Kuma-chan was erased. Everybody was a victim. But the police can't even investigate it. Who's gonna take care of their parting regrets? Only we can, Akasaka-san.
We find the truth.
Yeah, we'll find it. I've been around every one of the string of mysterious deaths, and know all the inner workings of the village. You were told an important truth a year before they happened by Rika Furude. We can do it.
But we're already dead. Oh.
That's right. Rika Furude died. You were too inexperienced, so you couldn't save her.
Oishi grabbed me, who was a wreck, and lifted me firmly by the lapels.
That's why.
Hells?
No.
To atone for that, we reveal the truth. If what you say is true, then all the incidents were part of some greater design. If that's the case, then that's how we investigate needs. Then how we investigate needs to change completely. I can read today. I intend to spend tonight summarizing all the information you and I have, and then get in contact with one of my former subordinates first thing in the morning. We're not gonna let the case go cold. We're definitely gonna crack it wide open.
Crack it open. Crack it open.
We will. Several
With
years
cold
have
one?
passed, but it's not beyond the statute of limitations. Even if the case has been postponed, it's not closed. It's still going. We're going to keep it going.
Yeah, you're right. Let's do it, Oishi-san. I won't let it end like this. I'm certain. We will uncover the truth. We absolutely will. I demonstrated my resolve to Oishi by crying out those words. And just then,
Papa?
the sliding door behind me opened, and Miyuki revealed herself while sleepily rubbing her eyes. My shouting must have awoken her. Then she rushed over to me.
He's getting too hyped up.
What's wrong, Papa? Papa, why are you crying?
Oh, it's nothing, Miyuki. It's nothing. I tried hard to smile while wiping away my tears, and though Miyuki looked like she was about to cry herself, she extended her little hand to me.
Are you alright?
Small girl CG.
Did you have another scary dream? Don't cry, Papa.
Okay, well, I am slightly curious. Is it just black? If I... Where's, CG's? What? What? No, I guess I can't do it from this point. Damn. Never mind. And when she makes that gesture towards me, I saw the figure of another girl overlapping with her. And her
Ghost.
innocent gaze and innocent expression felt frustratingly nostalgic, filling me with painful torment. A girl who couldn't be here because I didn't reach out to her. She borrowed my daughter's body to offer me words of comfort. Who wants to voice Ghost Rika?
Akasaka, please don't cry.
It might be a hallucination. Maybe a convenient illusion formed by my selfish dreams. However, that was her voice. I'm certain I heard it. Rather than blaming me for my mistake, she was compassionate. Why am I crying? After all, I have something more important to do than crying. Miyuki, before you were born, Papa met a girl in Hinamizawa who was like an angel.
An angel? Really?
Yeah, she was cute and kind and... well, let's leave it at that.
She was way better than you, honestly. Like, you really need to step it
No,
up.
that
Yeah,
wasn't
like,
what I was
she's-
referring to. I was referring to the part
she's
where...
psychic and you're not. Like, what a
No,
disappointment.
I was referring to the part where Akasaka wanted Rika to call him daddy.
Yeah, I really wish she was my daughter instead of you.
Yeah,
but
like,
no,
I really wish that.
Specifically said Daddy Star, which does not bring good things to mind. Anyway,
Akasaka found on
Yeah.
the obscene list?
yeah, she was... yeah, she was cute and kind. I wanted her to meet you, Miyuki.
That's why they refused to publish it, because Akasaka is on there.
Right.
Oh, and then
That's-
probably Oishi is too, and he's got some
Right.
pull with the US government.
Guys! Thank you. Right.
Right,
That's already an
What?
impossible wish.
right.
What?
That
What-
future... Shut the fuck up! I'm going to
No,
server
I
Devon
don't
myself
know!
again.
I don't know what!
Just shut up! Shut up!
I don't know what
So
you're talking
toxic
about!
today.
The future is already gone. I'm not talking to you specifically, Grumble. Because everybody keeps going like...
The only one who's done that. What the hell?
No. I am definitely
You've actually
not.
muted several times to like rant and argue with yourself.
I'm not ranting or arguing with myself. I'm just explaining the theory. Because you guys won't shut the fuck up. Anyway,
What the hell?
that future is already gone. Like no future from Vampire Survivors.
Then I want to be friends with that girl.
Eh?
I'm looking forward to it. Next time you go, take me with you to Hinamizawa.
Even so, there's still something I can do.
Does she know?
Of course. We'll meet her together someday. I'm sure of it.
Yep.
You forgot the music note.
Music note.
Thank you. Someday, I'm sure, we will see her again. That summer, the Higurashi cried in Hinamizawa.
Whoa!
Oh, title drop.
Poetry!
Bravo,
His
Ryukishi!
writing is this fire?
Absolute cinema!
Dog shit.
Absolute cinema! Oishi and I vowed to bring the truth of the case to light, and stood up.
Oishi standing up? Wow, he must be really determined.
Everything ended!
I'm just making a joke about him being fat and repulsive, man. I thought you liked those.
Everything
What's your
ended.
favorite?
Everything ended in 1985. Please just let me say fucking 4 words. Holy shit.
But it was never a good time to interject.
I, at least, wanting to apologize, had searched for her grave. Listen, if something funny happens, okay?
But
that's
something
fine.
funny happened.
What do
Oishi
you
did some light exercise.
That's not a humorous event.
Wait, Oishi
You're
not
laughing,
standing
though.
up is actually a reference to Steven Seagal. Little known fact.
Oh, yeah!
I, at least wanting to apologize, had searched for her grave. After the state autopsy, her remains were entrusted to one of the shrine's followers. In the future, when the quarantine on the Hinamizawa area was lifted, they would be returned to her family grave. However, unsure who exactly took the remains of Rika Furude, until today I couldn't even apologize to her. In the future, when the quarantine on Hinamizawa is lifted, all I could do then was wait until whoever that person is returned to the grave. What? All I could do then was wait until whoever that person is
Quit
returned
talking,
to the
quit
grave.
repeating yourself.
What?
That line is confusing.
Yeah,
That's quite a line.
Yeah. Anyway, what I could
No.
do right now was not apologize to her. Instead, until I was able to meet her again, I would reveal the truth and dispel her regrets. Even now, sporadic eruptions of gas in the Hinamizawa area meant that the prospect of the quarantine being lifted wasn't happening anytime soon. Most likely, it seemed that she had no intention of meeting me again until I found the truth. That's why the quarantine wouldn't be lifted, or so I thought. Until the day I grasped the truth. It was the following year. Oishi and I co-authored a book on the string of mysterious deaths leading up to the Great Hinamizawa disaster. I decided on the title. Higurashi.
Is this funny enough to comment on?
His writing is this fire.
So, remember when I guys said it really depends on like what level of meta we're on?
I don't know, like a 5 or 6 right now, dude.
You were like a little baby. Watch this. I just... this has to be the thumbnail, right? Right, guys? Like, no context.
It's not gonna be a
this is
thumbnail,
the
because it's
thumbnail.
not gonna be a VOD.
There's no
Be...
thumbnail.
Oh my god, there's gonna be an upload. Please relax.
I need to hear all of our cucking jokes again.
That was...
I really
Be,
do.
air quotes, upload.
That was because for most of those few days I was in Hinamizawa. The sound that I remembered most was the cry of the Higurashi. I could only wish that based on this book, those people involved with that incident could refresh their memories and bring to light a new truth. And more importantly, that nothing like this ever happens again. I wrote this in the afterword. Why did this tragedy happen? We can't reach the truth by ourselves.
So that nothing like this ever happens again. Buddy, I hate to say it, but this author
you're
has 2
reading
more
this-
visual novels.
If you're reading this, please discover the truth. That is our only wish. Kurado Oishi and Mamoru Akasaka. So yeah, his name's Mamoru.
Which we've already known.
Yes. But I forgot. Because he just goes by Akasaka. Anyway, this year, the quarantine on Hinamizawa still hasn't lifted. And that's how it ends. Yep. So, yep, the mystery did not get
It
solved.
exploded.
But they said they would.
An all-cast review session has become available. To play it, select Extra on the title screen. Then all-cast review session. Then click Himatsubushi.
I guess we'd probably just do it in this session, considering how much time we have left.
Okay, but we're still going to, we're still gonna do, like, the, you know what I mean. Like, the thing.
No.
Gay sex?
No, I'm gonna have theory time, and then we'll reconvene for one last discussion before
But Grumble,
answer
you're the
works.
only girl here.
So this will not be the last time we're discussing, before we move on to answer arcs, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway.